For example, you guys take panoramics, right? Why don't we gather around over here? Come on over. Bring your cameras. You can even sit right here. Wherever you want. So, on your cameras, how do you guys do panoramics?
Panoramic setting.
Yeah, but then what do?
You pan around.
Ah,
Yeah.
you pan around, right?
Words make sense.
Words!
How do?
Yeah. So, what is different with that? Thank you, David. Vanna. David. What's happening is you take your phone and it's constantly making a bunch of pictures and it's stitching them together on the fly, right? Instantaneously. And you guys might think it's something like going from, it has a little screen right there, right? And it goes like this. That's what you do, right? You do it right to left and you drag it across. If you want to take a panoramic like we usually do, in that fashion, what you want to do is, because we're trying to grab the horizontal line of the horizon, if we try to use our camera like this, we have a certain amount of distortion. You guys remember when we click on the lens correction panel, there's distortion, it straightens the edges out. Mm-hmm. Our straightest part of the image is inside that circle. This is where all of our distortion is. So if we tried to partner these up, like moving side to side, we're going to get quite a bit of distortion, almost like a waviness. So what you want to do when you photograph a horizontal image is you want to have your pictures now, instead of being horizontal, the camera should be vertical. And what that will do is it will only take the solid parts that are relatively distortion free, and we can get rid of all of this stuff up here that has all the distortion on the edges. Does that make sense? So we want to get the majority of the image here in the middle that's distortion free. If we did it like this, we'd be butting up against each other at each edge, the parts that are distorted, which means that your picture is not going to look quite right. So if you go like this, you're going to end up with a much better consistent result. And I'll show you right here. Let's see, I'm going to do my interior lighting here. Let's go with a ISO of, I'll do 400. And then if you follow the rules that are on that paper there for the panoramic, this is the number 1. It says capture more than one frame and stitch them seamlessly without distortions. This will give you the ability to make much larger photographs that show more details and a wider angle of view. And the how, it says make multiple images taken while overlapping to produce one large image, either vertically or horizontally. All images with the same exposure and same focus point. Manual focus will be a little bit easier. So what that means is you don't want to change your exposure even though the light meter might change, okay? It means you want to pre-focus, like we did with that long exposure stuff, focus it and then turn your autofocus off, all right? All of these procedures have certain protocol that make them work easier. If you don't do one of them, it's going to screw it all up for you, all right? So at this point, my light meter, I'm going to change my aperture to 5.6 f4 and about 1/6 of a second. I'm going to turn my live view on. That makes it a little bit easier. And if I want to make a picture right here of at the corner of the classroom with, say for example, if we have, let me just frame this up right, there we go. If we have someone in the picture like we have Liz right here, maybe I'll focus on Liz, have her stay right there. And then I'll focus on Liz, I'll make the exposure based on Liz, and now I'm going to go back and start over here. And let's say I'm going to go from David to Liz and maybe up to Daisy here. So I'll take one picture and then I'm going to overlap. When I overlap, what I should do is I should know where the picture was just made and I should keep that edge inside the photograph. We'll come back here and see if you can capture this. So right here I have these two edges and I'm going to keep that edge in there. And I'm overlapping by about a third. Right.
Does it autofocus? Or do you have to twist it?
I don't know. I just got the focus ring on the front.
There we go.
So I'm going to try and keep everybody in here. Every picture that I just made was overlapped a little bit. So I went from this section all the way through. I didn't change focus. So basically, every time I took a picture, if I focused on Liz, that's about 10 feet away. It's going to, because I'm moving from a single point, right? You move anything from a single point, turns it to a circle, right? So I went, and my focus is kind of circling around like that, okay? So in and of itself, the picture is going to be kind of curved. So if we try to stitch it together, it's going to have like a weird curved look. The software gets rid of that, all right? It allows you, it's called a projection, allows you to project it a little bit differently. That's something we have to be aware of depending on what we're trying to make pictures of. If you're trying to take pictures of a sidewalk or a street,